My brother ruined my wedding over a decade-old grudge. I never thought my wedding day would turn into a family drama straight out of a soap opera. What was supposed to be the happiest day of my life became a lesson about how deep-seated grudges can destroy even the most important moments. For context, I, 32F, have an older brother, Jake, 34M. Growing up, we were close, but things changed during our teenage years. Jake had always been the golden child in our family. He excelled in sports, got straight A's, and seemed to do everything right. I was the quieter, artsy one who often flew under the radar. I never resented him for that until one incident drove a wedge between us. When I was 17, I got accepted into an art program that I had been dreaming about for years. It wasn't cheap, but I had been saving money from my part-time job and had secured a small scholarship. All I needed was a little financial help from my parents to cover the rest. They agreed, until Jake wrecked his car a week later. My parents decided to use the money they had set aside for me to buy him a new car because he needed it for college. I was crushed. Jake didn't seem to care and even joked about how his old car was on its last legs anyway. From that moment on, our relationship was strained. I resented him for taking away my opportunity, and he acted like it wasn't his fault. Over the years, we grew apart, though we kept things civil for the sake of family gatherings. Fast forward to my wedding day. I was marrying the love of my life, Ethan, in a small, intimate ceremony with close friends and family. Jake was my only sibling, so I asked him to give a toast at the reception. I thought it might be a chance for us to reconnect, or at least show some semblance of support. Big mistake. When it was time for his toast, Jake got up, smiled at the crowd, and started with, "Well, I guess it's about time my little sister finally got something she wanted." The room fell silent. I could feel my face turning red, but he wasn't done. You know, growing up, it was always Jake this and Jake that. But let me tell you, my sister has a real talent for holding a grudge. I mean, it's been, 15 years since the car thing. You'd think she'd let it go by now. People laughed nervously, thinking it was some kind of awkward joke. But Jake wasn't joking. He went on for another minute or two, talking about how family always has your back, and how he hoped marriage would teach me the importance of forgiveness. I was mortified. My parents looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything, and Ethan was fuming. After Jake finished, there was an awkward pause before the DJ quickly changed the mood with some upbeat music. I couldn't hold back my tears. I left the reception for a few minutes to collect myself, and Ethan followed me. He said we didn't have to let Jake's pettiness ruin our day, but I couldn't shake the embarrassment. It felt like my entire family had been laughing at my pain. Later that night, I confronted Jake. I asked him why he would say something so hurtful on my wedding day. His response? "I thought it would be funny. Besides, maybe it's time you got over it." That was the last straw for me. I told him I was done trying to have a relationship with someone who couldn't respect me or my feelings. He rolled his eyes and said I was being dramatic. It's been 6 months since the wedding, and I've gone no contact with Jake. My parents are upset, saying I'm tearing the family apart, but I refuse to apologize for setting boundaries. Ethan has been my rock through all of this, and I'm finally learning to prioritize my own happiness. Still, I can't help but wonder. Was I wrong for cutting Jake out of my life? Should I have tried harder to fix things, or was this grudge long overdue for a resolution?